Get up, stay in bed. My eyes fluttered open into a beam of morning sunshine, piercing between the curtains of my bedroom. Once I was sure I was awake, I tried to figure out what in God's name I was seeing. I jumped when the message that appeared before my eyes flashed and changed before disappearing. Get up. I got up out of bed slowly, then looked around my room. Clothes sat in messy piles in the corners, and my nightstand had no signs of drugs. Guess I didn't feel like taking any last night. What I did find on the nightstand was the photo. I picked it up and examined her face. It was really hard calling it off with her last sleep night, but that was for the better. If she had decided to start sleeping with others, since I was such a creep, I wondered what she was up to now. I reached down by the nightstand and picked up a beer bottle by the neck. I found another one under the bed and had another one and another. Whether I was drinking before or after the breakup, I can't remember. I didn't have a hangover, which was odd. I am a bit of a lightweight, making my way to the kitchen. Another sentence appeared in my vision. Apple, orange. I rubbed my eyes hard this time, trying to erase the sight. It remained even with my eyes shut. Sighing, I opened the fridge, and oddly enough, sitting on top of the shelf were a single orange and apple. Apple. The message disappeared once again, and I took the apple, biting into its crunchy exterior. The sun's sweetness hurt a bit, but I ignored it. I thought about how this thing was happening. Crunching on the fruit, I returned to my bedroom, and my gaze fell upon the clock. My job started in 20 minutes. Shit! I shouted, immediately undressing and piling on deodorant. I grabbed some clean work clothes from my closet and bottled out the door, got into my car, and left it right away. The whole drive I was cursing at myself for sleeping in, and I suppose I got the punishment I deserved. As I pulled into the night highway, there were a pile up of 10, maybe 12 cars ahead of me. I began to slam my hands on the rim of the steering wheel in about a fit of rage. Wait here, cut across to the other lane. The message yanked me from my temper. Was there another option? I looked to my left, and to my surprise, there was a perfectly open spot in the passing lane. I twisted the wheel as hard as I could, bumping ever so slightly to the back of the car in front of me. I gunned it to the lane and messaged directly accordingly, cut across to the other line. As I raced along, I laughed in amazement as I passed the entire pileup, which had been caused by an accident. I drove right along and continued to work. This actually was kind of interesting. A little display in my head that showed me what options I could take. This would come in handy. I managed to get to work within 2 minutes to spare before my shift begins. For the rest of my day, I grinned as a little message bot, who I had taken to name in Wallace, kept showing me different possible responses as I replied to countless emails and with messages. How subtly display my annoyance with the stupid request, or how to please a higher up in response without sounding like a suck-up. I get some strange response back with unintelligible, but then Wallace simply said, "Explain yourself. Let them figure it out." I went with the easier of the two. After all, Wallace seemed to know the easier way out. Eventually a message came up saying that didn't immediately understand. Tuna. Ham. Before I could react, the message had changed. Ham. My stomach growled, which when I looked at the time, I realized it was almost lunch. I had gotten so buried in my work for once, I hadn't been sitting there watching my whole second hand tick by, desperately waiting until the lunch break arrived, and growing more and more brain dead by the minute. I had realized that I hadn't packed a lunch, so I decided today was cafeteria day. Entering the cafeteria, the same word flashed on me very briefly within my vision. Ham. I looked on the menu, and sure enough, ham sandwiches were on for $1. I checked my wallet, $1 bill. A chill ran down my spine out of fear of impression I couldn't tell. Wallace would make decisions based on things that I didn't even know about. So I did as he suggested. Purchased a ham sandwich, and then went back to my desk and enjoyed my decision with my new friend it had made. The rest of the day went on as soon as the morning had, with work flying until it was about time to return home. I packed my things, casually headed to my car, and began to drive home. But along the usual way I took, Wallace displayed a message. This time it wasn't a choice. Left. I was confused, since the way I almost felt like to look straight and go up ahead. That's when it came to me. I felt like a dumbass. Wallace knew things I didn't. He probably knows a faster way to get home. I took the next left as instructed and continued. Right. I shrugged and turned again, following the road. Left. Left. As Wallace continued leading me along, I began to get a little worried. Where is he taking me? No, it couldn't be. Not there. I stopped the car. I was on the other end of town from my house, where she lived. Maybe Wallace wanted me to get back together with her? No, I had to get home. My house wasn't going to clean itself, and I wasn't in the right mind to be dealing with that right now. I started to turn the car around when a sharp, intense pain flooded my head. I had to stop immediately and grab my head, groaning in misery. Left. Wallace repeated the message. My heart skipped a beat before proceeding to beat faster. Did Wallace do that? Shaking, I started driving again and took left as Wallace had instructed. It wasn't enough and I needed though. I knew where I was headed. Stop! I hit the brakes. I was parked in front of a house. Her house. A disturbing chill echoed throughout my body. Get out of the car. Wallace was being awfully bossy, but worried about what he might do to me if I didn't comply. I got out of the car anyways and started walking towards the house. I slowly opened the front door. Upstairs. I swallowed and took a nervous step into the house. Hello? I called out. No answer. I walked towards up the steps to the second floor. Left. There was a closed door where Wallace wanted me to look. I knew it was her room. Why are you doing this? I asked out loud. What do you want with me? Open it. I stood still. Why was I listening to this thing? For all I know, I could have just had some sudden head pains. Yeah, that's it. I don't need to get some text telling me what to do. I want to make my choices. As I turned to go back downstairs, another quick pain jabbed my head again, and I felt dizzy. I stumbled backwards, holding myself up on the floor. Guess I was wrong about something being a coincidence. Tears swelling in my eyes as I slowly reached for the doorknob. What was behind this door? Could the cause of Wallace's influence be there? One of her fuckboy lovers with super high-tech brain controlling equipment? A satanic ritual? There she was, lying in bed. She appeared to be sleeping, unaware I was in the room with her. I approached the bed to get a closer look, and I could barely hear her softly breathing, with the distant sound of music playing around the edges of her ears from her earbuds. A bottle of sleeping pills rested on the dresser across the room, but I could see that it was still relatively full, so I wasn't the only one having trouble sleeping. Take the scissors. I tried to refuse looking, but slowly gave way and I rested my eyes upon the man's nightstand. There was a pair of scissors sitting there. I had a terrible feeling I knew what Wallace wanted to do. Do it! I began to hyperventilate. My heart was slamming hard against my ribcage. I froze, my hand outstretched towards the scissors. I won't! I can't! I stammered. The pain returned, and I fell to my knees screaming. The pain intensified and only grew stronger and stronger until I thought I was going to fall unconscious. Then, just as sudden as it came, the pain stopped. Take the scissors. Unable to stop my crying, I blindly grabbed the scissors. I stood back up and looked at the tool in my hand, and then at her. She still had no clue that I was here. No, you're not in control here. I am. This is my body. You have no dominance here, I shouted, holding the scissors up. I make my own choices, got that? Kill her. I refuse. Why should I listen to you? Kill her! No! Kill her! This is, my choice. My choice. Those words echoed in my mind, and for a second I was numb to the pain Wallace was causing. Was it really my choice? Did anything I do ever come out of my free will? At all those choices Wallace offered, didn't he make them for me? He gave me the days out, took away the pain in choosing, until it was only him in control. I'm just a puppet. It was all just an illusion. The pain returned, significantly worse than before. I fell to the floor, coughing. You want a choice, do you? Fine, here's your choice. Wallace displayed the choice, which only caused me to cry out even harder. That's not a choice, I mumbled, beginning to fall unconscious. Even if my eyes shut, I could still see the words. Kill or die.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.